It's a bit chilly outside, so before I go thrifting, I'm warming up with a nice cup of tea in one of my favorite Disney World mugs. And in this episode of thrifting, I'm going to tell you a little bit about an item that every thrift store has that a lot of people probably pass over, but it's worth a second glance. Join me, let's do some thrifting. This was filmed a few weeks ago, and as you can see, the shelves are pretty bare. They hadn't filled up their Easter and Valentine's, St. Patrick's Day section yet, but I'm sure they will. Always dig through this bucket. I noticed behind that horse there were some Easter hanging decorations. I didn't know if they were plastic or paper though, so I totally missed out on those. A few Christmas remnants. This is a Wilton cake pan. I believe that's, I always want to call her Hobby Lobby, but it's not. Some of the cake pans do really well. Others are fairly common. I had a viewer comment that she always laughs when she sees that Goodwill has prices higher than what the items were at the dollar store. And that does happen quite often. So they do have some Easter items out, but none were vintage. None really caught my eye, so I passed on those. God Bless Our Camper from the Luray Caverns in Virginia. You always find souvenir items at a thrift store, like these little salt and pepper shaker jugs from Georgia. So watch in the video a little bit later for another souvenir item. This was your classic ship decor. I think it's a tea towel or a necktie holder. I thought it would look nice in a bathroom if you put your towels on it, if you have ship decor. And so the green-blue section, oftentimes they put the stickers right on the maker's mark, so you can't tell if it's old or not. I saw these bowls, and I really liked them. But, are they Fire King, Anchor Hawking? I don't know. I liked them. They were nice, heavy-duty, but I have so many cereal bowls as it is. I didn't need more, so I passed on them. Looking at these, green, my favorite color. This little ramekin glass, trying to figure out what the mark is. And then I found this, the Hukilau. It caught my interest because it is tiki, Polynesian. And then I looked at the back. There was a phone number, but no website. So you know that it's older. And it was 99 cents. So into my cart it went. Another mug. This is about cats. This is an older mug. I think it had a variety of scratches on it, so I left that. This piece was interesting. Almost reminds me of a lotus. I forget the maker, but I thought it was neat enough, so I did put it in my basket, but I looked it up later, and it was a no-go. Still a neat piece, though. A trip to the thrift, and I only came back with one item. That's it. One item, but an item that I think will surprise some of you and also bring us a little history lesson because I do love history. So I started off my intro with this mug. Now I didn't buy this mug at the thrift store. I bought this mug or glass. It's the Hukilau in Chicopee Falls, Massachusetts. We feature live entertainment, luau's, and takeout orders, catering, and banquets for the whopping 99 cents. The reason that I picked this up is because two things. One, I can flip it. Two, it has a great history. And I guess three, actually, it is a thrifting lesson. Mugs, coffee mugs, souvenir mugs, should not be glanced over because you figure, well, everyone out there probably has one. When they went to this place, they probably bought the mug. They're worthless. Not so. When you travel, when you go somewhere, what do you pick up as a souvenir for someone? What's one of the easiest things that you can buy? A mug. T-shirts as well, but let's talk about mugs right now. Mugs, coffee mugs. Everyone, when they're out vacationing, Walt Disney World, Niagara Falls, Hawaii, Florida, I don't know, where else do people go? California, Hollywood sign. They want to bring back something for someone. And more often than not, they bring back a mug. Everyone uses them.
You probably know people that have a whole kitchen cupboard or 2 or 3 dedicated to coffee mugs. People have favorite mugs, this being one of mine. And that is why they are popular in thrift stores, because people donate them when someone passes away, when people are moving, when they're downsizing, or they figure, you know what, I need to not have a whole cupboard full of mugs, I'm going to donate some. They end up at the thrift store. And not all mugs are created equal. We're just going to talk about this mug, for instance. This is my favorite Walt Disney World mug that I own. I purchased this on my first ever trip to Disney World at the age of 20. I think I was 20. Imagine that. I never ventured out there prior to that, but it's my favorite mug. It is Mickey and his sorcerer hat, which no longer is at Hollywood Studios. I love this mug. I use it very often. I rotate my mugs. And if this were to break, I would be sad, because it holds the memory of me, of my first trip to Disney World. Great mug, keeps my tea warm for a good amount of time. So if I were to see this at a thrift store, garage sale, rummage sale, I would buy it. Easy. Would I go and venture online on eBay to find one? I might, and if the price is right, I might buy it, because people do that. People buy memories, and memories come in coffee mugs. If you think about your favorite place that you go to eat when you're on vacation with your family, or perhaps at your grandparents' home, they had a whole cupboard full of mugs, and you always pick one out, and it was some vintage mug from some diner that no longer exists. And perhaps when they passed away, you wanted something to remember them by. And hey, what's better than a mug? You use it every day, and it brings back a memory. And that is why people buy coffee mugs and souvenir glasses. And that's why I picked up this. This is the Hukilau, as I said, in Chicopee Falls, Massachusetts. This is no longer there. What happens when something is no longer there? People look for items from there, whether it's postcards, glasses, t-shirts, other tchotchkes and souvenirs, and that is why these are a popular item to sell on eBay. Now, not every mug, souvenir glass that you find is going to be worth something. The market can be very, saturated with these items, but they're always worth taking just a look, because you just never know. Now, is this mug worth $50? That's doubtful. $20? Perhaps. It might take a while for it to sell, but someone that frequented this place, that loved the luau's and the banquets and the live entertainment, maybe they're missing it. Maybe they want a piece of that place back, a memory back. And so they buy it. People buy based on memories and also history. And so I'm going to present to you a brief history of the Hukilau. And perhaps next time when you are out at the thrift store, you will take a second glance at all those coffee mugs and all those souvenir glasses, because you never know. You might find something that is worth, a great amount to flip. You might find something that's local to your area that you used to eat in and dine at when you were little, and it brings back a memory. Or you might find your favorite new coffee mug or glass. Souvenirs span through the ages, and as I said, people are buying back their memories, they're buying back their history. Just comes in different forms. So enjoy this little history of the Hukilau, and when you're out of the thrift store next time, take another look at the glasses. You might be surprised what you find.
Hukilau history, inspired by a souvenir glass. The story begins with young Thai Johnny Lee, or Johnny. Johnny was born in Hong Kong in 1935 and made his way to the States. According to newspapers, he began working as a dishwasher in Boston, moving up to various positions in the restaurant world. In 1964, Johnny partnered with Frank Chin and Robert Liu and started the Hukilau restaurant. The trio would come to open 3 Hukilau locations in Massachusetts. The Chicopee location opened April 6, 1965. July 26, 1969, the Berkshire Eagle wrote, "In 1964, the 3 decided to pool their resources and open their own restaurant. They found Boston to be crowded and beset with parking problems. They selected a location just outside the gates to Westover Air Force Base. They felt they had a captive audience and servicemen returning from the Pacific area. three partners had adhered to the American success formula, calling for hard work and long hours. They still make this a practice. October 4th, 1970, the Hartford Courant wrote, Polynesian American Fare. If you favor exotic food and drink, they listed the 3 locations of the Hukilau. All just across the line is your kind of restaurant. Bobby Liu, John E., Frank Chin, and Freddie Valagasia provide their guests with a Polynesian American fare served in a Far Eastern atmosphere, complete with colorful dining areas and warm, friendly staff at each location. On the menus are dishes to please and tantalize the most exacting connoisseur of Oriental food. Diners are invited to come and try their favorites, prepared and served by the expert hand of Mr. Liu, who began his career in this area 15 years ago. He is always happy to set up special parties, banquets, and meetings in each of his excitingly new restaurants with plenty of free parking. This is an array of advertisements throughout the years of the life of the Hukilau. On the left, you have a somewhat older advertisement for exotic island drinks, catering to clubs, banquets, parties up to 200 people, luau with Hawaiian entertainment. The trio on the left are from the 90s and early 2000s. You have retired persons paying $25 to hop on a bus and go see the Hawaiian dance and also have lunch. Jamie Foxx even performed a few shows there. And then you have the comedy connection with Bobby Collins, Cheryl Underwood, Judy Tenua, and Sonny Corinthos from ABC's General Hospital. Who wouldn't want to go see him? Some images of the inside of the Hukilau. This was taken from the Kritiki.com website, which is located on the bottom if you want to go check out their website to see more pictures. This is from 2004. So you can see up in the top left, you have the classic big tiki god in the corner, the palms hanging down, a nice ocean view. And then they even have a picture of the souvenir shop. So I tried to zoom in to see if the glass that I found at the thrift store could be on that little bottom shelf. I'm guessing it probably was. It probably was in there, bought by many a customer. This is a view from 2017, so a little change of pace here. You have the Create a Stir, you have their stir fry bar, and then up at the top right, again, you have the tiki gods, the classic rounded dining areas for people to sit in, so a little bit different. The Hukilau in Chicopee was the longest running Polynesian floor show in the Northeast, so that alone constitutes an amazing history for Mr. Lee, Mr. Johnny, and what he did for the Polynesian show. As times changed, so did the restaurant. Eventually, as stated by the Lee family, the building became too expensive to operate, both in facility upkeep and the change in dining preferences by the public. At this time, the public wanted more small, intimate eating areas versus, the big group eating. The restaurant was demolished on December 19th, 2018, so not that long ago. The Hukilau does live on, though. Johnny's family, they actually have many restaurants and a few taverns, and in some of their eating establishments, they actually have taken some of the popular items off of the menu and incorporated into the menus at their other eating places. So the food of the Hukilau lives on, but also the history of Hukilau lives on. I found it for 99 cents on my Goodwill shelf. And that is why I love thrifting, and I love picking up items that perhaps they can sell for a monetary value, but they also have a very interesting historical value. And who would have thought this all would have came from a 99-cent mug purchased at the thrift store? So next time you are at the thrift store, maybe take a second glance at those souvenir coffee mugs and souvenir glasses. You might find a history hidden on the shelf.